Welcome to this expert presentation entitled Financial Literacy, Scholarships, Financial Aid, FAFSA, and the DREAM Act. Good joining us today. My name is TJ, and I will be your moderator for this presentation. This session will be recorded and posted on the event site for you to return and watch at your leisure. This will also be helpful for those individuals who are unable to attend this live stream. The Fresno College Night event site will remain active for the entire fall season, so you can return at any time to watch this presentation or any others that you may have missed. This session is being presented in Zoom webinar mode. Attendees are automatically muted to avoid background noise. You can participate in this presentation by asking questions. To do this, use the interaction tools found at the bottom of your Zoom window. You will see an icon labeled Q&A. Please click on that icon to open a new window. Now you should all be set to use the function and be able to see questions which are answered during the webinar. You also have the ability to upvote your favorite questions. At the end of the presentations, we will answer some of the most popular. Today, we are honored to host the following expert on this topic: Gloria Ponce Rodriguez, Fresno Unified School District, Manager 2, College and Career. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our panelists and thank you for taking the time to present on this important topic. Please share your screen now and let's begin.
We're on board. Good. Greetings, everyone. Again, thank you for joining me on this college planning and college admissions journey. Hopefully, I'll be able to provide and use some information and answer some questions that you have had in the back of your mind, and maybe also alleviate some of the stress that you're going through during this COVID. But I do want to just share with you, planning for college, it can be a little stressful. And let me just make sure I have you. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I got you in the next. So anyway, topic overview. It can be a little stressful, so we want to talk about a little bit about college planning and resources. We're going to talk a little bit about the community colleges, UCs, the Cal State systems, the Ivy Leagues, the WUIs, and the HBCUs. And WUIs represents Western Undergraduate Exchange Programs, as well as the historically Black colleges and universities, and other services. So hopefully this presentation will provide you with links, answers, and where to go if you have questions, and they'll be able to answer you there, okay? So we know right now we're going through a trying time, right? Through the COVID pandemic has really impacted many college admissions policies and disrupted the whole United States. We know that. And what I find is that the universities are being very supportive in ensuring that they're still accepting students, alleviating stress with test taking. The majority of colleges throughout the country have either opt out or it's optional to take the test. And if not all universities, including the Ivy Leagues and the HBCUs and the WUIs. And of course, we know that our California system is also supporting many of you students. So, but before I move on, I need to share with you what's important when you're looking at these colleges and how important it is for you to conduct your research. All the information is made available to you on virtual, of course, websites. And one of the issues that I know that I hear from many of my students, I went to the website, but it's really hard for me to navigate. Let me give you a tip. There's 3 ways you can log in from the main website. It's either going to say admissions and financial aid together, or it's going to say prospective student or future student. You're going to click one of those, and it's going to take you to where you need to go. But a lot of times students get lost in navigating that piece. But I want to alleviate those thoughts and making sure that you find your areas in I guess virtual online information. So the current admission changes due to the pandemic. We want, of course, again, as I mentioned, make sure that you check your websites. And in each of these little slides, it says the same thing: check your websites. Check the websites. I have to keep saying that over and over. And the reason why I had a lot of students this summer that are still trying to receive their financial aid because of the portals. And we're going to talk about portals because that stops students from registering, also receiving financial aid, and and at the end of the day, they're not able to attend college because they didn't navigate the college planning correctly, or thought that they had to do something and was waiting for an email, or maybe deleted their emails, or whatever the situation may be. We find a lot of students are not able to navigate that educational pipeline, but the resources, the colleges and universities are really doing an exceptional job. The only concern that I have is, and I tell this to all my students, is that you have to read. And so that is my message to you. You have to read. Otherwise, you'll be on the phone for an hour and 38 minutes like I was, waiting for someone to answer a question that really you could have just got from the website, okay? Also, the universities throughout the nation have extended the national decision deadline. They extended it this May to June 1st. I think it's gonna happen again, but please, again, check the website. But I do want to share something with you on that as well. And it's very, very important in college planning. Students apply for their dream school and they're on a wait list, and they have their second school that they've been accepted to, and they wait for that decision deadline. And they're on a wait list, but then they find out that they don't get accepted. And then the deadline already passed, and so they lost their second choice, and now they don't have a college to attend. And some of them have to attend a community college, which is okay. But if you're planning to attend a four-year college, you need to make sure that you're planning accordingly, so that way you'll be better prepared. Okay. Also, some of the schools are also, because of the pandemic, are also extending deadlines. I didn't know that I received a $325 COVID-19 grant. I was like, wow, because I am pursuing my second master's, my fourth degree. I was a high school dropout, so I fell in love with education. So I want to share this with you. So there's also grants. The colleges will also support students that have been affected by the fire. So always ask questions. All that information is on the web. Also, many colleges, as I mentioned, are waiving the SAT, but you can still take the SAT, and we're going to go over that, but over the dates. Of course, it's limited because many test sites have been canceled, but you don't have to take the SAT or ACT. Only if a certain school has and when I say school, under the umbrella of a university, and keep in mind, these are universities that have schools. They're called colleges. So you have the College of Education, you have the College of Business, you have the College of Science and Technology, the College of Journalism. So we have a lot of colleges, which are schools, right, that are under the umbrella of a university. So sometimes when you're applying to some of these schools, you may have to, universities, to get accepted to the general admissions to the university. And if you're interested in a certain major, maybe nursing, they may require another admissions, another application. So keep that in mind as well. So always look out for that. Let me see, hold on. I don't know what happened here. Okay, now the SAT. I'm not going to really go over this, but we may have some freshmen and sophomore and juniors here that may need to know. I know you seniors, this doesn't really apply to you unless you want to take the SAT. The SAT consists of 3 hours, and the total score that you can receive is 1,600, and each subject section is 800. Your scores can be anywhere from 2 to 800, 800 being the highest. But also you can also take the writing. You can opt out, but it's almost a 4-hour test, and you need to know that. But for our students at Fresno Unified, if you're here from Fresno Unified, and I encourage other students to partner with Khan Academy. If you don't have an account, it helped me in my stats class, recent stats class. I went to Khan Academy, and I think, and I just got to be, I'm a straight A student, but I got to be in my stats class. And the only reason I got that B is because of that Khan Academy. So utilize those resources. The resources is going to take you to the level that you need to be at. And those videos that they have, and also the support that they give you, will help you academically if you have a deficiency in certain areas. And math is not my forte, and I'm very honest about it. However, I have to study, and I know it can be done. So make sure you utilize the Khan Academy resources, especially if you want to go to a four-year university, or maybe you want to go to an Ivy, or maybe one of these Fresno Pacifics, you got Stanford, you got the UCs, so Cal States. Wherever you decide to go, you definitely want to make sure that you know that rigor, okay? The ACT is a little bit different. It's a 2-hour, 55 minutes. It's 4 sections. It's English, math, reading, and science. And they have a 40-minute optional writing area as well. And keep in mind for SAT and ACT, if you're low income, normally it's juniors and seniors, talk to your counselor to get your fee waivers. Just talk to them first and see if you can get a fee waiver anyway, if you're not low income. I mean, you'll never know without asking, right? But also Common App will also do the same, so you can also ask for fee waivers for admissions, but we're going to talk about that a little bit down the road. So this is just another slide that will help you understand how ACT works. And I put the actual website there for you, so that way you can, because there's a lot of information on these websites, but it will break it down so that way you'll be able to understand the process. Okay. Now, what I did here is I put this check with your counselor for college planning resources. Many colleges, many high schools or school districts have partnered with college planning platforms. One that I know that we partnered with, but at the same time, it's free to any student, is the California colleges. It's a partnership with the state, and it's a platform for California students. It's a one-stop shop. It has everything that you need to know. All of our students are required to activate their account. We also have a partnership with Zello, and some of you may have Zello, or some of you may have Naviance. So check with your school to see which one they have partnered with and make sure you create your account. And if they haven't partnered with anyone, then I encourage you to go to the California colleges, because it is a platform for any student. And these are resources that's going to help you through higher education and answer all of the questions that you may have. There's no reason for you to say, I don't know. It's there for you, I guarantee you. Also, the College Navigators, another little resource that you can have from the National Center for Educational Statistics. It's actually from Federal Student Aid. And also the College Board, that's another good planning source. And they have all kind of information. They even give you pre-test on how to prepare for your SAT or your SAT. Also the Khan Academy, but I added Raise Me. Raise Me is a new one. I encourage all of our school sites and students to create an account with Raise Me. It's free. You earn micro scholarships starting in the ninth grade. So I had one student at Edison High School that had $177,000. They weren't, now keep in mind that $177,000 was amongst 12 different schools, but it also opens up and allows you to explore other colleges and universities that are partnered with Raise Me. I wish Raise Me was around when I was a college recruiter, because I was once a college recruiter for Norfolk State University. I worked at the University of San Diego, as well as Old Dominion University. So these types of resources, they will help you through the college process, okay? I just wanted to share how the California Colleges Guidance Initiatives work. So I just took one, and I just wanted to share this with you, just so you can see that it is a college and career planning platform, which is free to all California educators, students, and families. So please take advantage of these resources. Now, I do want to share with you 9th and 10th grade, what do you need to do? Many of you are transferring into your high school years, 9th grade. Maybe a little frightening, but keep in mind, we have your back. You have a lot of counselors. You have a good county superintendent, your superintendents at your school districts. There's a lot of resources out there. Never feel that you can't ask a question. I say that to all my students. Please ask the question. If you don't know, then you will know. You need to know what are the things that you need to do to prepare. So get to know your high school counselor to create your 4-year plan. Ask what classes should you take to put you in a good position for college. Start thinking about, what do you really want to do? There is a little resource that I normally use. I kind of direct my students there. It's Rogue, I think it's Rogue Community College. You type up Holland Theory quiz, and you take a quiz and see what your likes and your dislikes on your own. And then it'll tell you what jobs are out there for you and how much they pay in those jobs. There's all kind of resources. I just wanted to share that one with you, just in cases, well, I don't know what I want to do right now. Most students don't know what they want to do. However, at least you can get a viewpoint. Are you an outside person? Do you like working with animals? Or do you like working with computers? computers, or do you like talking? Are you loquacious? Are you a people person, or are you more quiet? Find out all the jobs in those fields, and that way it's going to help you. It's just like preparing for college. Do you want a small school? Do you want a rural school? Do you want a large school? You know, do you want an urban school? You have to know what you want, and these are some of the things that you need to start asking yourself in preparing for higher education. Participate in extracurricular activities. Explore different interests. If you're an athlete, make sure that you know the rules with the NCAA. Talk to your coach. So if you play an instrument, make sure that you have some supplements. If you decide to go to a college, maybe an Ivy League, and you have a supplement, maybe you're a good piano player, have that supplement so you can upload, because that is one of the determining factors also. What can you bring to that college or university? So if, stay involved, basically. It's not just about going to class and also doing all your work. It's also about being a global citizen and also conducting a community service or leadership. Also explore summer opportunities. You know, that's very important. And if you're in the 8th, 9th grade and you're in this session, the PSAT, we have also the PSAT 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. Also for the ACT, there's different resources our students can also receive, not just our students, all students that are low income, first generation, can receive also the waivers for the SAT and the ACT. But one thing I do challenge you on, create Khan Academy, and the websites are there for you. And Khan Academy is partnered with SAT, okay, the College Board. So they're prepping you how to take that test. And those are, again, for the freshmen, sophomore, and juniors. So basically 11th grade, I do need to share, it's basically the same thing, but there are some things that you do need to know about. You are going to be prepping for your SAT or SATs, juniors, but there's no sites that you can take tests, right? So again, visit the websites, talk to your counselors. But I do want to share this with you, and it's very, very important. If you're staying in California and you're entitled to a Cal Grant, which most of you are, make sure that your grades A through G is very important, okay? That you have a decent GPA to receive that Cal Grant. Many of our students are eligible for Pell Grant, but there's a Cal Grant. And many times students don't understand that process. What's the difference between Cal Grant A, B, and C? If you have above a 3.0 GPA and you're going to the UCs and they accepted you, then not only, if your family makes under 80,000, not only are you getting your tuition and fees paid, you also have another grant that's going to pay for your room and board. So if you make under 80,000, it's a free ride. But if you had a 2.9 GPA, then that 12,500 plus grant will drop down to a Cal Grant B, which is 1,600. That's $11,000 difference, just because you couldn't get that GPA a little higher. So I'm sharing this with you to allow you to start thinking about it. You know, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Because Cal Grants are it's a good chunk of money that will help you pay for college. So, and also the financial threshold is a lot higher than the federal aid, meaning families, if you have a family of 6, families can make up to, I think, about $120,000 to receive that Cal Grant. So look into that, okay? I just want to share that with you. Keep your grades up, A through G. And you know you need 230 credits to graduate. Also, if you fail some grades and you need to make them up, you know, most schools have credit recovery or have Edgenuity to make up your courses. So that way you're better prepared and positioned to be accepted to your dream school, okay? So I just wanted to share those things with you about preparing for higher education. High school is a very stressful time, especially now during these uncertain times, but we want to make sure that you are aware that there's a lot of great opportunities out there for you. There's no reason why you cannot go to college, regardless of your financial income, because there's also a lot of money, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, not much, but I'm going to just give you some resources. So, but if you're a senior, you should have your FSA ID, and if you don't, please have it before September 30th, because FAFSA opens October 1st, seniors. And another thing, parents, you need a FSA ID. I had a lot of students that had some challenges and were selected for verification because the parent had the FSA ID and just signed their FAFSA, but they didn't go back in because they worked. They didn't go back into that FAFSA and use the FSA ID to transfer their IRS information. So use the IRS retrieval. That is going to alleviate a lot of stress and delay. Had numerous students had to turn in a verification form indicating what did the parents make, needed their tax return information. And after they turned it in August, their financial aid is processed in 4 to 6 weeks after. A whole month after they could have got their money. And so some students are due refunds and they depend on that money. So make sure, parents, you have your FSA ID, okay? Students, make sure your FSA ID is verified and make sure that you complete it accurately. I can't say that enough because I have a lot of issues with the FSA ID. Whatever reads on your Social Security card is the name that you need to put on that, and you need to have that ready. That's the first step that you're going to make as a high school senior. So hopefully when we end this presentation, you are creating your FSA ID. Now, many of you are visiting colleges and some of you may not know what questions to ask. Well, you got to look at certain things. What do you want? What is your passion? Does this school have your major? Is it a small or large school, urban or rural, private or public university? What is the cost for tuition? I had a student going to San Diego State University, 4.0 student. However, he was only allotted so much money. He still needed $10,000. It costs a lot of money when you're going, out of your region, because you have to pay for room and board can be anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000 depending on what school you go to, right? So after he found out that his parents will end up owing $100,000 at the end, he changed his mind and he went to our local university. So that's what I'm talking about when you're planning. Make the right choices. Don't fall in that pit hole. Because it's hard to come out sometimes, okay? So what are your GPA requirements? Ask the schools that. Does your school require the ACT, SAT? Well, we know right now they're not for you seniors, so that's an advantage for you. And what is the average financial aid package for financial need students? Learn the different deadlines for admissions, housing, and other programs is very, very crucial. What type of scholarships? Keep in mind that every university has an endowment, right? And so that endowment can be anywhere from, like, Harvard has $31 billion, not million, billion dollars of endowment money. UPenn has about 11 billion. So that's why they have that need blind, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. So also get involved in organizations, clubs, or support groups on campus. Keep in mind they have all kind of support groups on colleges, campuses. I worked in many. I worked in as interim director of residential life. I was student accounts. I worked cashiers. I was a supervisor in financial aid. I was a supervisor in a register, and I was assistant director. That's why I know all these issues. So keep in mind, there's a lot of resources, but sometimes students do not utilize those resources. Remember, you're paying for those fees, so you're entitled to that, okay? Just keep that in mind. And then also, there's a question you may want to ask: what is your student-teacher ratio? It's very, very important. Some people don't know that, I don't know if I can be in a classroom with 200 people in a lecture. I need that more personal attention. So those are the type of questions you should be asking. And some of these questions may not even be important to you. So you need to do some soul searching and ask the questions that are important to you and what's going to allow you to succeed in college. Now, the Common Application covers nearly over 900 colleges. What is the Common App? Well, to go to an Ivy, you have to go through the Common App, okay? Also, about 200 plus colleges and universities also offer you admission waivers, so you need to ask about that. So I left the email there the website there for you, so that way you can do your own research. Now, your counselors will be uploading their letters of recommendation. It's a one-stop shop where colleges and universities are connected to the Common App. But the Common App is a really great application, but most colleges and universities are also going to ask you for their own application that you have to complete, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, they also have the Black Common App. My good friend Robert Mason is the founder. He founded it back in, I think, 2000 or 1999. When I was a recruiter, he was a recruiter, and then he started this Black Common App, meaning you pay one fee of $35 and you apply to 55 historically Black colleges and universities, including my school, Norfolk State University. But you have Tuskegee. Tuskegee is a well-known university. You have a lot of these land-grant schools. There's 19 land-grant HBCUs that offer 1890 scholarships, full-ride scholarships. scholarships, had many of my students that received the full ride scholarships. And the key thing about these programs at the HBCUs, they are tied into the high tier universities. Like my school is optical engineering. We're tied in with Johns Hopkins, Duke, Eastern Virginia Medical School, and Stanford, because Stanford is optical with lenses. So students are guaranteed, and they have to conduct 2 years of summer internship there and 2 years in NASA. So those are programs. So that's one of the great things about HBCUs. Also, they're strong in the sciences. Like, for example, Hampton University has a satellite in space with NASA, where you heard of Hidden Figures. That's where they went to school. The mathematician, I think Johnson, she attended there at sorry, lost my train of thought, at Hampton University. I put this little know before you owe together. It's going to be on the Fresno County's website as well. And it's like College 1, College 2, College 3, the cost of attendance. It's just lists of tuition and fees, room and board, something to help you and guide you through the process. And then you're going to deduct all your financial aid. And if you have to take out loans, that's totally up to you. But if you don't have to take out loans, I don't recommend it, not unless you really need it. And you have to invest in your education to get you to the next point, okay, to the next level. And that's to the college of your choice. So somebody already went over the financial aid, but it's really important that you understand the process. So this is there for you so you can reflect later on. The term rolling admissions. Of course, we know in California, our deadline's normally November 30th, right? That's the deadline for our UCs, Cal States. But rolling admissions, you can use rolling admissions at the WUIs. Some of the WUIs offer it, as well as some of the historically Black colleges, meaning you can be accepted up to the day you start school. So most of the HBCUs will probably end theirs in June, July, but they'll never turn you away. So, and some of the WUIs either. So the key thing is knowing that there is something there called rolling admissions. So like the University of Reno, it's right down the road, about what, 5-6 hours away. They're a WUI school. You know, you don't pay that out-of-state tuition. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But they may have rolling admission. So if you miss a deadline here, you may want to attend school there, and you may end up liking it there. And if not, you can attend that 4-year and then transfer back to your local 4-year here in California. It's totally up to you. Just you need to know what's out there for you, so that way you can navigate that educational pipeline. Also, you will never have opportunity to be accepted. You will have an opportunity to be accepted after November 30th. So that's something that you may have not known before. And then also there's just basically no deadlines. Now, this is the crucial piece. And I'm going to go over this because this is where this one hurts my students. And a lot of admission officers can share the same. A lot of times students have emails. Create an email that is specifically for your schooling, your financial aid, a personal email. Okay, also for jobs, separate it from your current personal email, because what I found is that many of my students have, I would say, erased or deleted all of their emails, and there was some pertinent information from the colleges. Maybe they've been accepted to the college and they didn't know, and they're saying they never heard. Well, you never read your email. So once your admissions application is received, you will receive notification via email, text, or US mail, depending on the school's policy. Look out for all emails and read carefully for portal access instructions. They're going to give you a portal access instructions. Now, keep in mind, if you apply to 5 schools and you're debating which school to go to, you're going to have 5 portals. You need to know that. So you'd have to have 5 portals. That's how you're going to know about your financial aid package. If you don't create a portal and don't know anything about it, well, how are you going to be accepted to a school, and how do you know what kind of financial aid you're going to receive? This is very, very critical. It also, and what happens is a lot of students get a lot of junk mail, advertising mail from colleges. So it gets overwhelming. So that's why I'm giving you a strategy. Create an email that is strictly for your college planning, and leave that other email alone. From your other stuff, if you want to erase this stuff, that's up to you. But don't erase the important stuff that may be the determining factor of you going to that school. If you do not set up an account with a temporary login, you may not be aware of notifications, as I mentioned, from the admissions, financial aid office, or other deadlines, and being late in responding can potentially jeopardize your award letter or not being accepted. So keep that in mind. That's just something to really think about. Okay, now we're going to talk about colleges. Now, some of you or most of you may know about the AB2 and the AB19 as far as free tuition here in the state of California. One of the requirements, well, actually 3 of the requirements are be a first-time student entering college, enroll full-time, and keep in mind, full-time is 12 credits. But I would recommend if you're going to want to graduate in 4 years, especially after you do your 2 years here, you want to go 2 years somewhere else, it's 15 credits, but 12 credits. Don't go under 12 credits, okay? If you go under 12 credits, your financial aid will be adjusted, and you can potentially lose your opportunity to receive this free tuition for community colleges. Be enrolled 12 credit units and complete an accurate FAFSA or DREAM Act. DREAM Act students are also eligible for this. So those are the factors to go to school free for 2 years, and then you can transfer to either the Cal State system or the UC systems or anywhere else, or the HBCUs, because there's an articulation agreement with the HBCUs and the California community colleges. So there are 116. I remember when I first came here, when I first left Virginia and I came to Fresno, I think there were like about 111. So now there's 116. So when you go to California Community Colleges, you click apply and make sure you just follow the instructions, okay? And I just kind of put this here telling you what you need to do. These are just 4 simple steps for the community colleges. All users will need to create a new user account, right? And after the completion of the admissions, all students are required to complete the new orientation. And then also they will meet with their counselors and look at their plan. And then of course, check their, what do you call it? The web advisor, couldn't think of the name. Click the web advisor located in your portal, again, portal, link to the view academic. It will also allow you to look at the academic holds, registration holds, and your registration date. So it's very important. You see, the portal gives you a lot of great information. Now, we're going to talk also about Fresno State. There's 23, I'm sorry, not Fresno State, of course, Fresno State, because we're in Fresno, but there's 23 campuses, but I'm going to talk about a little bit what Fresno State is doing, and this is going to really excite you students, because some of you may say, well, I'm not able to go to Fresno State because Fresno State does accept students with a 2.5, but before we go there, I want to just mention a couple of things to you. They're also waiving the SAT and SAT, but it's going to determine eligibility for first-time freshmen. Instead, they will rely on GPA and other factors. So it could be that maybe you live in this region, they give a few points for that, or maybe you're first generation, they'll give you, some points for that. So they're going to look at other factors, or maybe you play sports, or maybe you play an instrument, or whatever the reason may be. They're going to look at other factors when they're accepting these students. Housing, or it's also referred to as residential life. During the pandemic, there are some colleges and universities, Cal State systems, that are allowing students to stay on their campus. Don't quote me on that. And if they do, they have one. I know UCs are. They may have a single room, and a single room is having the room to themselves. But I would definitely check, because it changes all the time, okay? So you need to check with the college and university about housing. Now, if you wanted to take a tour, there's a lot of virtual tours. All you need to do is go to their website, and you can actually take a tour. The UCs, for example, they have tours, virtual tours, but they also have drones that go over the campus or over into the departments and give you tours that way as well of the actual campus. So look at that when you're in this college fair. Take the time to look into the schools that you're interested in. Now, for California state system, the California residents will be eligible for admissions by earning a 2.5 or higher, right? However, they are encouraging students to apply with a 2.0 GPA, 2.0 to 2.49. They are encouraged to apply. If there is a need for certain enrollment percentages, meaning in saying that if they don't have enough numbers, their numbers are not high enough for the 2.5, they'll drop down and they'll allow students based again on other factors, okay? So they have their own, every campus has their own eligibility index on admitting students. Also for non-California residents, they will need a 3.0 and above GPA. So that is a good thing. Especially, I'm going to Fresno State. I love that campus. The professors are awesome. And I am really enjoying Fresno State. And I think you'll love it. We love our home schools, right? So I just wanted to share that with you. Also, waivers for the UCs. You also have waivers for the Cal State systems. You got 4 waivers, right? For low income, again. But the UCs also offer waive application fees, okay, for 4 campuses for qualified students that are unable to pay or maybe low income. So you need to check with them. But to qualify, you need to actually apply, and they'll let you know immediately if you're eligible. Now, if you say you want to apply more than 4 UCs, then it's going to cost you $70 additional. And as you can see here, these are the different schools. You got the UC Davis, Berkeley, Santa Cruz, Merced, Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, Riverside, and San Diego. Some of these, well, most of these schools are impacted. So, but we don't know how it's going to look like. But again, you need to contact the school. And I think all of you know that the UCs are conducting workshops right now, UC for everyone. And I think that you can receive a lot of great information from them. And I would urge you to sit down and again on your computer tomorrow night and partake in the UC conference. Now, keep in mind comprehensive reviews. This is the comprehensive review of UC. It may have changed a little bit, but you would have to go to their website and see. Okay, we know that the test scores are optional. They're accepting students without the SAT and ACT, so don't worry about that. But they use like the comprehensive review, or it's called a holistic approach from the Ivies. They call it holistic approach. UCs call it comprehensive review. It's basically almost the same thing. So these are some of the things that they look at if you've been going to like events such as this. Also, they look at your academic accomplishments, quality of senior year, so it's important, your AP courses, honor courses. They look at a lot of different things. Also, are you involved in your community? Are you a global citizen? Those are points. So that's a holistic approach or comprehensive review. So get involved. I know it's hard right now during virtual, but there's different ways. And I know that you young people, you guys are so sharp and so creative, and you amaze me sometimes because, oh, I didn't think about that. And I should have. But you young people are very talented. So there's ways that you can do things virtually to volunteer to make our community better. So if you don't have that, try to look into something to build your comprehensive review, okay? Now, blue and gold, as I mentioned earlier, if you have an annual income below $80,000, as determined by federal student need-based aid programs, your tuition and fees are paid automatically. If you're accepted and your family makes under $80,000, your tuition and fees are paid at the UCs, okay? Also, you'll be eligible for your Cal Grant. And your Cal Grant can also help cover your room and board, okay? So basically, you'll probably pay $0. So if you think you can't get into a UC, or you say, oh, we don't have enough money, because I had like 11 to 12 students didn't know after the fact. And I said, oh, how come you didn't apply for the UC? Well, we can't afford it. I said, well, yeah, you can, because you make less than $80,000. And they didn't know. So the blue and gold, I push the blue and gold so that way more students are aware of these opportunities, okay? Now, we're going to talk about the Ivy Leagues. I mean, this is where I love the Ivies, okay? And I'm going to share something with you that you don't know, hopefully, that you'll be able to utilize it because we're in September. But all 8 Ivy League schools will not require standardized SAT or ACT testing for the 21-22 academic year. That's you seniors, okay? Not going to say that for the juniors because we don't know where we are right now. Everything's everything's in the air. So students' family incomes less than $65,000 will not be required to pay. That means your room, board, tuition, fees are all paid at the Ivy Leagues. Now, the Ivies were the first colleges. Harvard was our first university. And Harvard also has the largest endowment, $31 billion. And so they are reaching out to underserved communities because they're thinking about the future of America. It may be a great opportunity for you to get in. They're also doing virtual learning as well. However, it's very competitive. It's highly competitive. But again, they use the holistic approach. You can have a 4.0 and a 36 ACT, have the highest composite score. But does that allow, do you think you're going to get in with that? No, they use other factors. You may have a 3.5 GPA, but be a stellar violinist. They may accept you because of that. You're bringing some to the university. These are private colleges. They can make their own mind. They make up their own mind who they're going to accept and who they're not going to accept. The retention rate at these schools, about 95 to 98%. What does that mean? That means those students stay at their school because they are competitive students. And that's the key about it, is that you need to know, that I shouldn't have said that key. The key is the support that you will receive if you are first generation, low income, or underserved. Because if your family's low income, they will provide financial support for you, but they also will provide other social and emotional support. So those are the key factors that you need to know about. What is there for me? But they have something else called a PEEP. It's at UPenn, they have the PEEP program. What is that? It's PEEP. That means they'll fly you in at no cost to you, but they're interested. It's not guaranteed that you're going to be accepted, but they accept about 100 kids, and they do look at the Valley quite often. They have a lot of our students, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, all of those schools. But UPenn is specifically targeting our area because Harvard and Princeton and Yale, they're here all the time. So UPenn is trying to increase the numbers. And so the young lady there asked me, you should encourage some of your students to apply. It's for low income students, and we will fly them in, and they will stay in the dormitories, I think like for 3 days. Everything paid, your food is paid. So it's a great opportunity. So if you don't know about it, Google it, say fly-in programs to the Ivy Leagues, and educate yourself about these great opportunities. First year application requirements. I just want to give you this overview, what they require. Of course, you have to apply through the Common App, and you have to apply for one or the other, Universal College application or the Coalition application, okay? You definitely have to have that one also completed. But this is just kind of overall. Again, the AP courses, they do look at that. So if you've taken AP courses, that's going to look good on your application because they're waiving the SAT and ACT. Okay, now we're going to go to WUI. I don't know how much time I have, probably a few more minutes, but we're almost done. Okay, through WUI, the Western Undergraduate Exchange, they've been around maybe about 30 years, and they will give you up to 150% tuition break. And now you can't get the WUI rate in California because you're already getting the in-state rate. But what if you wanted to go to Alaska, Arizona, Colorado, Hawaii, one of those places? I had a student that came to me in June. She went to the University of Hilo, and her tuition was only $8,000, and she rented a room across the street. Someone was renting out a room, so it was doable for her. Her financial aid paid for it. So the University of Reno down the street, instead of, a lot of people think, well, it's out-of-state tuition, it's about $25,000. Well, not for WUI, because you can receive, again, like a scholarship. It's like the average amount is about $9,000. You can save that amount of money on your tuition and fees. Now, I always give my students a strategy. If you are a people person and you like working, and you say, I really want to go to that school, but I don't know how it's going to be in the second year, my sophomore year, try to be an RA, because the room and board is covered if you're an RA. That's for you, freshmen, sophomore, and juniors. I know seniors, that's not going to happen right now. But that's another way that you can also look at when you're preparing for college. There's all kind of different avenues you can take. I wish I can share them all with you, but right now I just got to just share the main ones. So WUI's up to 150% tuition break. There's 160 schools, 2-year and 4-year colleges and universities throughout 16 states, okay? So you need to know about that. And I want to make sure that you know the website's here for you, and you can also get the brochure and retrieve it from the website. And so as you can see here, how it works. Now, keep in mind that it does not apply for everyone. It could be different schools offer different policies. Like they may say, we're going to take all the California kids that have a 3.0 and above, or maybe there's certain majors that's going to accept the WUI rate. And as you can see, the number of California residents that go to the States, we get a lot from them, 17,500. That's a lot of kids from those various states. But we have Nevada, as you can see, Arizona. Majority of our kids go to Arizona. We have about 4,897 kids. And then Hawaii, 1,702 kids from California go to these schools because they're paying what they pay at our schools here, like our state schools. It's the same cost. And also some of those schools have rolling admissions. So keep that in mind. So they have online applications, but one thing you cannot do, they will not retroactivate your WUI rate if you did not let them know that's what you're requesting, okay? Meaning once you matriculate, once you start your classes and you say, oh, I forgot to tell them I want a WUI, they cannot retroactive that for you. So make sure that you know ahead of time, look at the brochure, see if that school's listed, you ask questions, go into the website. At the college fair, there's a lot of WUI schools there for you. You should ask them. Then now we're going to talk about the historically Black colleges. I attended an HBCU in Virginia. I attended Norfolk State University. Behold the green and gold. It is also known as predominantly Black colleges, but keep in mind, they're not just for African Americans. They are for other students. So there's a lot of, meaning Hispanic students, Caucasian, Asian students, they accept all walks of life. And some of the HBCUs have about 50% of their students are Caucasian, are white. So like my nephew went to Lincoln University in Missouri. 40% of the students are Caucasian, 60% African American, and 2 Latino. He just graduated with his environmental biology. And so now he's working. So, and he graduated in 4 years. So there's a lot of great opportunities. Now they only represent 3% of all the colleges, over 4,800 plus colleges, but they graduate 25% of all African-American graduates in the nation. So a lot of people don't know that. And so sometimes they just hear, what are HBCUs? Howard University is a well-respected school. Xavier is a well-respected school. Tuskegee, like the Tuskegee Airmen. And I can go on and on and on. So, but I wanted to share this one. I decided to put this slide here. Why? Because we are in the agricultural place of the world. The world. And these are land-grant schools, and there's 19 of them. I had 6 of my students that are on full-ride scholarships, and because of that, one of them is pursuing her PhD, but she was on a full-ride scholarship, and also there's a lot of history behind these schools. And so the $18.90 pays for your room, board, tuition, and fees, everything, books, and 4 years paid internship in Washington, D.C., 6 blocks from the White House, because that's where USDA is, right? And your internships will be throughout the United States if you choose to want to go to Maryland or come to Fresno, because Fresno is an Aggie city. But these schools will cover everything. But the key thing about these schools, like I have one young lady right now, she's at Purdue University, and she was at Prairie View. Prairie View is also a land grant school, and she's going to be graduating this December with her master's. And guess what? She paid zero for the $18.90, and also zero for Purdue University because of the strong partnerships. And a lot of people are not aware of that. The University of Maryland Eastern Shore is another great school if you want to go into marine biology, also pre-med. I have 22 students that are medical doctors. Science and technology. I used to be the science and technology recruiter. This is one of my students. This is Dr. Jadida Iser. She's the first African-American to earn her PhD in astrophysics from Yale University. But I gave her a full ride scholarship because I was the Denemis recruiter. I have 22 students that are MDs today. One of them just called me 2 weeks ago. She has her, she's a director of clinical medicine at a hospital. So she used to work for the Center for Disease Control. And she was on a full ride. So many of these schools offer programs. So as you can see, the American Institute for Research found in 2014 that 72% of Black graduates with a STEM science doctorate from a historically Black college. As this young lady here, and she studies supermassive black holes in space, and they're blazars. And so she's a motivational speaker. She's one of my students. She graduated from Norfolk State in 2003. I recruited her, and I'm very, very, very proud of this young lady. Now, we also have something called the Historically Black College.
Sorry, Gloria. I have to interject. I am so sorry. I have to interject. We are 5 minutes over on time.
Okay.
Sorry, I have to start another. So if you could just please wrap it up, I highly appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Sorry, everyone, but you will be getting this information because I'm really done. You'll be getting this information, letters of recommendation. This will be on the website, so it's just going to guide you through the process. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I look forward to serving you. Thank you. Okay, sorry.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Due to time constraints, I am so sorry, but we are unable to take any questions today. Once again, thank you. And to all of our attendees, be sure to explore your college options in our virtual college fair. We have many interactive college booths where you can watch videos, download materials, and even chat live with admission representatives. You will also find that some booths have a schedule of their own live presentations. So make sure you visit the college fair today to enjoy those experiences. This concludes our presentation entitled Financial Literacy, Scholarships, Financial Aid, FAFSA, and the DREAM Act. Remember that you can come back to the website at any time and watch this recording. It will be posted on the event website shortly. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
Thank you.